Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Monday. I'm back in the building and I shout out to all the good people of the algorithm. Have y'all missed me? It's been a couple of days, but I hope that the days that we have been away from each other have been good, have been fun, have been safe, and I hope that you have really gotten things together, being productive, your family's doing well. I wish all these great things for you, great things for you. And I needed to have that break as well, even though the break was actually just like working. But nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Who is in the building today? Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone. Let's see. Let's see. I want to change the background a little bit. Let me fix this a little bit. Yes, I like this one. I think I like this one. Okay, here we go. All right. And let's see who's in the building. Hi, Hillary Clinton. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Uh Gires Shah. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. All right, guys. So I do have a couple new videos for you today. And make sure while you're coming in, just hit the like button for me. It definitely helps the channel so I can have these type of live streams with you guys so we can go over these old cases and new cases and just see how people mindset are when they're dabbling in criminal activities, whether if it's crimes of passion, whether if it's just crimes of means or needs, or if it's just pure, I just want to do criminal activity because I'm on that part of the spectrum. We get to dabble and we get to see these cases and we get to play it out amongst each other and have conversations. Okay, let's see who else has came in here. Let's see. Oh, hi, Joanna. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you, darling. Appreciate you. Let's see. Hi, Moa. Good to see you again. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. I hope everything is well. I really do. George, I don't know why you write that, but shout out to you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So the first case that I do have for you, ladies and gents, is a wife. Is a wife who possibly have unalived her husband. Now, I don't necessarily know if she unalived her husband, but if they're doing a video on this lady, then that means most likely she was found to be guilty. But I wanted to talk about the interrogation process that happened in this case because this woman had turned out to be a real manipulator, and it kind of like, threw the detectives back. Like, whoa, they couldn't believe someone can be that manipulative of how they try to get out of a situation. And we're going to look at it and see her for ourselves. Hey, young Riaz, good to see you. How's everything been? It's been a couple of days, but how's everything? Hope everything is well with you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this video up and we can discuss on the way.
In the early morning on March 28, 2018, dispatch in Olive Branch, Mississippi received a 911 call from a homeowner who reported there was a dead man at the end of his driveway. When law enforcement arrived on the scene, they found their victim face down on the asphalt. A search of his person turned up his wallet, revealing that his name was John Wilty. John was a hardworking man with 6 children. He had taken on a parenting role at a very young age when his own father passed away, forcing him to step up for his siblings and mother. Surprisingly, the address on his license was just 2 doors down from where he took his final breath. A trail of red led to his car, where the doors were still wide open. It was clear to investigators that he had been ambushed while he was getting into his car to go to work. Not wanting his wife of 15 years, Angela, to find out about his death by walking out her front door into the crime scene, law enforcement approached her and gently broke the news to her. But her response was no response at all. She seemed unfazed by the news. Law enforcement asked her to join them at the station for questioning, which is standard for the spouse of the deceased. What happened in the interrogation room, however, was far from standard. The footage you are about to see was collected by our team from the Olive Branch Police Department. Soon after arriving at the station, the detective begins by asking Angela where she was the night before her husband's murder. Specifically, she asks if she picked up her daughter from school. It's a simple question, so you'd assume her answer would also be. But Angela somehow turns this into a dissertation that, in her mind, proves just how hard she's trying to help detectives.
No. What was yesterday? Thursday. Thursday, yeah, because I worked yesterday.
And before we go on, can y'all just make sure, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know, can you actually hear the video? Because I remember last time y'all was having problems with hearing it, and I had to actually turn the video up. So just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it good, and then we can continue on, okay? Let's see. Hi, Ice. Welcome. How are you doing? Good to see you. All right, so just put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear it good, that definitely helps. If not, if you're okay with how it sounds, then I can go ahead and go on. Let's see. Okay. Is there anyone's in the chat? Okay, you can hear it. What? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you. Gerald Glass, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for the ones. Okay, let's go on.
We had appliances delivered over there, and I picked up my daughter from school at time did I pick her up yesterday? I know Wednesday she got picked up at 6. Yesterday was tryout, so it was like 4:30, I guess. No, wait, what? Oh my God, that's why I needed my book. I write down everything. I picked her up from school yesterday. I do know it was after 4.
Do you have a text message from her saying, hey, Mom, or anything like that?
Okay, at 5:08, she texted me and said she was done. So I'll take that back, because I worked yesterday. I told her I was on my way back to Olive Branch, so Dad went and picked her up. I said I headed to school unless you call your dad because he's already home. That was at 5:19. So Dad went and picked her up yesterday, and I met them at the house.
Did y'all drive in all at the same time?
No, I actually got to the house right before them. And then me and her went to Walmart, because she comes in there and she's like, Mom, Dad wouldn't take me to Walmart. She gets aggravated. She's this spoiled child. She's like, gotta have everything. So I had to take her to Walmart to get some stuff
right now
for
we're
a project.
watching an interrogation of a wife
And when we got back
for the murder of her husband
from Walmart, he was in the bathroom getting ready to take his shower. And when he got out of the shower, he asked me if I picked him up any drinks or anything for work. And I said no, that I didn't, because he does a lot of the grocery shopping, because I work a lot. He works a lot, but he likes to shop, where I hate to shop. So he left and went to Walmart and bought some drinks, and he texted me a few times.
All right, so I just want to say straight off the bat, right? She's talking very slow for me, and that means that she wants to be very careful with what she says. And you know what? I'm not going to say that that is an automatic flag for someone withholding or lying. Um, it's just that when this interview happened, this literally the incident with her husband happened, like, I think within a couple of hours. I don't even think it was a full 24 hours. So for you to be speaking this slow as if you don't remember what you just did a couple of hours ago is quite weird. You didn't remember that you picked up your daughter. I think that that's quite weird that you didn't remember if it was you who picked up the daughter or was it the husband that picked up the daughter. But then you remember you going into Walmart and her wanting something and you telling her no, or maybe her father telling her no. You remember that, but you didn't remember if it was you actually that went and picked up the daughter. Also, I want to stress is that she keeps on looking at her phone, right? That's very odd to me because you should be having this conversation to the detective to just for them to just know what actually happened and make sure that they can remove you from what happened to your husband. But you're more concerned about looking at your phone. You're looking down, you see the crossing of the legs. Can't really necessarily hold that to her because there is women who do cross their legs. There's some women who sit with their legs closed, not crossed, some who cross at the ankles. So that's really hard. We can't really pin that as if she's actually withholding something because that is something that is considered normal when it comes down to women, right? Like, people are more alarmed when a woman is not crossing her legs versus when she is crossing her legs. How we can use that with a man, right? Most of the time when men cross their legs, we know that a lot of men don't cross their legs. They like they like their legs a little open. They want a little space and air down there. So that's not something that's usually all men do. But in this case, her being a woman, that's sort of the social norm to see a woman or a lady cross her legs. So we can't really hold that. And let's see. Hi, Barry. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Let's see. Chameleon says, I once was at the by mines, and oh my God, I'm sorry that happened to you. I appreciate you stopping by. No, actually, I'm not. Sorry about that, but thank you for stopping by, and thank you so much, Joanne. I appreciate your compliment. I appreciate your compliment. But yeah, so let's go on. Let's see a little bit more what this lady has to say. As of right now, she's looking at her phone once again, and she's talking about everything else, but exactly what happened that day.
Was asking me if I
What time
needed
did he go to Walmart?
anything.
This continues for another 5 minutes, but we'll save you sitting through the rambling that the detective had to endure. Finally, Angela decides to call her daughter and see if she can lend a helping hand with her conveniently spotty memory.
So yesterday when you got home at about whatever time
I picked Kate up. This is gonna bother me.
Do you have a text from Kate?
I'm gonna ask her. Who picked you up from school yesterday, baby? Dad picked you up. All right, and did y'all come straight home after that? Okay, and then after you got home, that's when me and you went to Walmart. Okay. Okay, baby. All right, I'll call you back soon.
Look, thank God I caught myself before I went too far on mute. She might think that calling her daughter while she's being interviewed is a good thing. It's not, right? It really isn't, because it makes it seem like you're leading your daughter or whoever is on the phone to confirm whatever your story is supposed to be for this detective, right? It does not really look good, because how do we know that you're not leading her or force feeding her on the phone? She specifically, when she's having a conversation with her, she's telling her, well, who picked you up, baby? Okay, dad picked you up, all right? And that's before y'all went to the store and then y'all went home. How is that not a leading question? So again, it's really not good to do that. It's better for you just to stay, have your interview. If you don't want to answer the questions, be quiet, go get a lawyer, do it that way. And if they have to reach out to anybody else to confirm what story you told them, let them do an interview on their own. But calling and trying to get that person to confirm what you're saying, it doesn't look good. It does not help you. While she was doing that, what was the lady doing? She was literally writing on her notepad. And I'm telling you, she's not sitting up there scrambling. She's sitting up there like she's trying to lead her daughter and get her daughter to verify her story. This is not the time for that. But let's go on.
I love you. Bye, baby. Yeah, I hooked her up.
All right. So,
And now I took her to Walmart to get her stuff for her project.
okay. And did you and him argue at any point yesterday? Were y'all arguing, fussing?
We have arguments like every other normal couple.
Mm-hmm.
Because we work a lot. We have a lot of debt over our head. We're just now getting to where we can see above water.
Mm-hmm.
And he like I said, he likes to shop. But he likes to do his own thing too.
Right.
So yeah, we had one of our normal arguments
And what was that
over
about?
money.
Financial arguments?
Yeah. Because he wants a car. He don't like the truck. And we can't get another car. Because when his other car got stolen, before he came back to me, his car got stolen. And we had to get that one paid off.
Insurance didn't pay for it?
He had just had it. He got it like that December. He made the down payment in December because he had totaled his previous truck. So when he got back on the truck, he put money down on the car. And being that, I guess, the blue book value of the car, he gave more than what it was really worth. And the insurance paid a good bit of it. We still owed a few thousand on it. So within the last year and a half, we tried to clear up all his debt that he got into while he wasn't with me.
Okay, and you said y'all broke up when?
2015. We had a big fight. It was August 21st.
2015?
Yeah.
And what was that argument over?
He was drinking Jägermeister, which John never drinks hard liquor. He's not a drinker. I've got 4 Bud Lights that's been in my refrigerator for probably a year.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't drink.
Okay. He never drinks?
He hasn't drank anything since he's been back. He might have drank 2. There was a 6-pack. He won periodically, but he's not a drinker.
But on August 21st, he was drinking Jaeger.
Yeah.
Where did y'all live then?
We weren't together.
Okay.
We were living separately. He lived in an apartment. I lived at the house, and he called me over to the apartment. He had been drinking. We had had a big fight prior to the incident, and he beat the shit out of me.
So you went over to the apartment, y'all ran into a fight, and then he beat you up, and then what happened?
He went to jail.
You called police?
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to call the police. He was trying to kill me. I told my son, you should have never called the cops. He was like, Mom, you cut him open.
You cut him open?
During the incident, and I don't even remember doing that.
Where'd you cut him?
On his knees.
Both of them?
That's what he told me. Because when I've always carried a pocket knife on me, which I don't have today, I guess when he was, because I know he had me on the ground, beating me in my head, telling me he was going to kill me, and I don't know, that fight or flight kicked in, and I just went to swinging, thinking that he would back up. I don't know, but like I said, with us drinking, we moved past it.
It's hard not to feel sympathy for Angela here while she's painting herself as an innocent wife under the oppressive rule of an aggressive husband. But the story she's telling isn't exactly the truth. At the time of this argument, Angela and John lived separately because, allegedly, Angela left him for another man. John moved in with his co-worker Kyle, who was a first-hand witness to what happened between the couple. During this argument in 2015, Angela wasn't on the ground being hit and threatened by John, as she claims. She was arguing with him in a parking lot about her infidelity and pulled out the knife in anger, slashing him. In other words, the toxic relationship wasn't quite as one-sided as Angela is painting it out to be.
And you said you went to bed what time last night?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go with what Joanne said earlier about the oversharing and the guilty mind. Yeah, because she was trying to sell it, boy. She was trying to sell it with all these little small incidents prior to his unaliving, and she was leading up, and I was just waiting until she was leading up to the point where she was going to turn him into an aggressor, right? And I knew that it was coming. I do want to point out that she, even with the news about her husband no longer being alive, she have not shown any form of remorse, any form of sadness, or anything like that towards him losing his life. She has been very like, I don't care, very nonchalant about it. So if you're wondering why also she's acting this way or conducting herself like this in this interview, is because she really necessarily didn't care. But she made it very adamant to the detective to know that she probably had a turmoil or a very toxic marriage, and that she was apparently a victim of a toxic marriage. But now we have more information that she was stepping out. A lot of the arguments that they probably had was for infidelity as well as finances, and she have took it steps further where she has also attacked him with a weapon. We have not heard that he attacked her with a weapon, so we do see a little bit now about how this marriage that was off and on was operating. But she's about to go in now and ask her about her whereabouts, about when she was sleeping. And I just want y'all to keep in mind, if you can actually look at the video, once again, she has her phone in her hand. Her phone, she keeps it to her very close. She won't even let it just lay it on the table and have this conversation with this detective. No, she continues to have her phone in her hand and stuff like that. So to me, that's a sign of, trying to like maybe get in contact with someone who can verify and confirm the things that she's going to say in this interview, or saying, oh, look, I could show you pictures here, I could show you videos here. Like, in that sense, she wants to keep that phone to her. And I just want to say shout out to all the other people that stopping in. I appreciate you. Let's see. Girl Dad Cooking Up Deliciousness. I like that name. That's a really cool name. Shout out to you. Jack says alcoholic couples are disgusting. Shout out to you. It can get bad. It can really get bad. Lynn Mendoza. Hello. How are you doing? Shout out to Massachusetts. Good to see you. Good evening. And let's see. Yes, Moa, she is building her side of the story as a victim. Yes, absolutely. She really wanted to make that known. And that's why we heard a lot of blah, 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 because it was all going to lead to her being a victim and more dynamics in that relationship. But let's go on. Let's hear her excuse about what she was doing, when this unaliving of her husband occurred?
10:30 or 11, 'cause I told my daughter to take her shower. She had a friend over last night. Right.
And what time did your friend leave?
About 8:37. Maybe a little bit after 9, because they were doing their project for school. And after she left, I told Kate, I said, Kate, you need to get in the shower, baby. You need to get your shower done. You know, it was 10:30, like 10:36 on the clock, and Kate was still in the bathroom, and I hollered at her and told her it was after 10:30. She needed to get into bed.
Okay. And what kind of gun do you have?
It's a 9mm Ruger. It's loaded.
Is it the LC9?
I have my box to it. I left it on my bed, but I have my box, but I can't find my receipt.
That's fine. Where'd you buy it?
Sports Authority. It's in South Haven, the sporting goods.
Sportsman's Warehouse?
I think so.
The big,
Yeah, you know, if you go in and you buy a gun, they don't let you go out the front door. They always take you out the front, but it's through the office part.
through the office area and out the He's gonna,
Sorry. Let me borrow your cell phone if you don't mind. I'm gonna do a cell phone dump a bit.
do you need to get a consent form?
Either consent or I can do search warrant, either one.
Can I text my daughter real quick?
Sure.
And let her know not to...
That's fine. It won't bother anything. It'll all be on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it won't bother anything.
No. Is there a passcode or anything?
It shouldn't lock. Here, I'll take it off, though. Connections, sounds, notifications. Applications device.
Lock screen.
Oh, where was that?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Screen laptop.
Look at you.
I have to do this all day.
Do you have any objections to him?
I feel like I'm being accused here now. But
This is a process of elimination. You know, when a spouse, something happens to a spouse, you have to eliminate the other spouse. And I think we've been talking and trying to get a background here. I don't think anything's been said that would make you feel like you were.
Double check, make sure it ain't gone.
Sure. Okay. I'll come back with the consent form right quick.
Angela may feel like she's being accused, but in reality, the detective questioning her has been going relatively easy on her. That's about to change when they return to the room. And it will change even more once they uncover the secrets she's hiding on her phone.
You're a boss in Florida. How long?
I agree with that. It took her too long just to take off the password off her phone, right? That took way too long for me. To me, it seemed like she had been took the lock off, but she was like, you know, so these smartphones, some of these smartphones have these hidden folders that you can actually remove off of your like your front screen of your phone, so you don't even know that you had like a hidden like an actual folder for certain things. And it just seemed like that's what she was doing. It seemed like she was trying to toggle and look through her call log, you know, make sure it's not something there that might be suspicious. It seemed like she wanted to, you know, rush through it really quickly because she got kind of caught off guard when they asked her, hey, you know, can we run your phone? That's why she said, hey, I'm starting to feel like a suspect now. But we'll see what's going to happen after now that she doesn't have her phone. And I want you guys to pay close attention to her body mannerisms going forward.
Did you say you worked for him?
I've been working for him since about June of last year. I went to New York with him and done a house over there. My husband locked him, is the only reason I was allowed to work for him. And he knows I'm not doing nothing. I don't have that drive to do nothing. I just want to work.
So, if I go over here to the trailer park and pick your boss up from Florida, is he going to say the same thing? No relationship between you and him at all?
He's actually in off of Walnut Grove.
Right,
Yeah,
Memphis.
but yeah.
What did I say, Walls?
You said over here at the trailer park.
Well,
Angela has seemed to miss the point of the question. Her correcting the detective does give her time to think of what a loyal spouse would say.
but if we go up there and talk to him, is he going to tell me the same thing?
He'll come here and talk to you.
Okay.
He's worried about me right now. So I didn't text him this morning. Told him I couldn't come in.
Who did you call earlier and say you couldn't come in?
Him.
And what was he asking you?
He was asking me what was going on. I said I couldn't talk about it right now. Just I can't come to work right now.
Okay.
But I don't know, he wanted to come out to my house. And I told him, I said no, everything's gonna be fine. I'm okay. He asked me if my daughter was okay, because apparently he feels like something's wrong. When I told him I couldn't come to work, so never miss work. And
Now, did y'all see the difference within her body language from how she was before when she had her phone and now how she is now without her phone? Now, mind you, she still has her legs crossed. However, look at the position of her upper body. She is now crossing her arms. And we all know what that means. That's withholding. That is not being forthcoming. That is trying to not tell too much, right? And then we notice that she's not talking as slow as she was talking before, right? Before, it was kind of a little hard to even listen to her because she was talking like, I don't know. She was just talking very, 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 very slow. Like she didn't understand what day it was. Like at this point, I didn't realize that whether or not she understood what year it was. But now she's a little bit more. She has a little bit more of a natural conversation flow. However, her mannerisms is completely different. Her body is mannerisms is completely different. She's more back offish. She's leaning more back in her seat. She has her arm closed. You know, she seems like, you know, she's really guarded. Exactly, Custom Taylor. She seems very guarded now. So yeah, exactly, Barry. Absolutely. Yeah. She's closed off, protecting herself. Right. So let's go on. Let's hear a little bit more what else she has to say.
unless I'm sick. And if I'm sick, I'm going to tell him I'm sick.
I mean, just talking to you, you're calm, you're cool, I mean, I feel like there's more to y'all's relationship than what you're actually letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
You're using your husband, y'all fighting and not getting along and all that.
Me and my husband hadn't been fighting, like, just recently.
Like,
because he's stressed. He is very stressed over money. Because he knows he owes a lot of money to the courts.
mm-hmm.
And money.
How much money would you say you have in your account right now?
He just got paid yesterday.
So y'all aren't hurting?
We're not hurting, no. But I don't always tell him everything we have.
So he doesn't know you have $16,000 somewhere else.
He does know. He knows we got money. He don't know exactly how much. Because if he knew exactly how much, we would be running out buying something we don't need right now. My thing is I want to pay all of our bills off, which we're working on it. He just paid cons off the other day. It was like $570 for some furniture crap that we probably don't need. But he likes to shop. He wants a sports car, the one that we can afford. And I could be okay with that if we didn't have the truck payment. I just can't see having two really, really high payments. Because I don't work every day. I don't work all the time. Like, winter months, it's hard to find some work. Because I can't work in the cold at all. It kills me.
Does your husband talk to the guy you worked in Florida? Do they have like a talking friendship? Do they call each other and talk?
No, they don't.
I'm wondering too, Joanne.
Do they text or anything like that?
No, they don't. No.
Does your husband text anybody? Just you, other than you? And
No, he texts his kids, Franco, Terry, a lot of dirty pictures to the guys at work, men stuff. But no, me and my husband don't have a horrible relationship. Have normal family issues.
because I've been doing this a long time, okay? I got 20 years just at this.
I'm scared to death right here. I ain't even gonna lie, I ain't never been in the jailhouse like this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was geared towards thinking you shot him, okay? And then I looked at the crime scene, and I walked it, and I looked at it. That man was running for his life. Somebody was after that man. He ran 4 houses from your house. And he was scared for his life. Do you remember seeing the towel on the ground?
I've seen that.
Is that y'all's towel?
I don't remember ever having a towel. I don't know.
Have towels that cover?
I don't think so.
So you don't know where that towel came from? Did he have one in the truck that he sat on? Did he have one in the back seat?
I don't know. I never get in the truck. My daughter drives the truck when she's with her dad.
So I find that kind of crazy, right? This man got shot 4 houses away from her house, not where he lives, but where she lives. And I guess the positioning that they found him in, the way he got shot, he was running away. He wasn't running towards anything, and he got shot. He was running away, so most likely it probably was shot in the back, on an arm, or something like that, back of the head, who knows. But I just find that that's really weird that your husband got shot literally 4 houses away from your home, and your alibi that you want everybody to believe is that you was up there in your house and you were sleeping and you didn't know anything that was going on, something that cannot even be proven by you, right? And that's another reason why they wanted her cell phone as well, to also pinpoint where were you at this time when he lost his life, right? And a lot of people don't think that they can do that, but they can. So I just find it quite odd. I really do. I find it quite odd. If he's running away, you haven't explained that this man had any dealings with bad people. You didn't tell her that, you know, he got messed up in some drugs or gambling. He didn't have no enemies, right? But the only thing that you alluded to is that you had a toxic, a toxic marriage, and that sometimes y'all had altercations, and at that particular time y'all wasn't even living with each other. That's what you have shown and explained to the detective. So why would anybody just want to shoot your husband on some random day and he has to run away from him? And it doesn't make a lot of things doesn't make any sense. And this is what the detective is going to lash out on more about where he was actually shot at, what time he was shot at. You and him, however, was supposed to be dealing with your daughter at that time. So neither one of y'all was sleeping. So it's just like, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But a lot of stuff ain't playing out. And again, look at her mannerisms again. Look how she's sitting in the seat. Look how she has a hand on the side of her face. Like she's trying to she understanding where the detective is trying to lead the questioning, but she's trying to beat the detective before her actually giving a statement, trying to counteract before the detective actually asks her a couple of questions that she will have to, you know, basically reveal more about the situation that she's trying not to reveal. But let's go on.
So basically, you and your husband exist in a house together, and y'all pretty much have separate lives. That's what I'm hearing from you.
We don't really have separate lives, but, you know, we both get up, we go to work. He leaves early as crap, so he's tired when he comes home. And he's in the bed earlier than me, because I'm not going to go to bed and go to sleep until I know my daughter's in bed. That's my main focus, is my kid.
According to Angela's phone records, however, her main focus wasn't her kids. It was texting other suitors. Upon examining her call, text, and email history, officers managed to uncover several extensive chat logs Angela had with other men, including a certain someone that the detective is fixated on, Angela's boss, Shabi. Perhaps that's because when she asked earlier if Angela was sleeping with him, she changed the topic not once, not twice, but 3 times, and never answered directly. Which is a liar's way of saying, well, duh.
Does your boss from Florida, does he do drugs?
I wouldn't think so.
And what does he drive?
Who?
Your boss from Florida.
A Dodge Caliber.
So how does he pull his RV?
He pulled the car with the RV.
So it's a motorhome.
Yeah.
Okay. So he drives up here with the motorhome with the car attached to it. And how long does he stay here when he's here?
It depends on what he's got going. The house in Memphis on James Street we did, it took us a little over a month to complete the house. And then he left and went back to, he went to Florida. Then him and his wife went out to New York and back to Florida. He's here now because a guy from New York owns a duplex off of Park Avenue, and they're redoing the roof on it right now. So I told him I can't go back to work there until, I'm not getting on that roof. Tree fell there, and it just does not look safe. And I told him, I said, my husband and kid needs me at home every night, so I'm not getting on the roof. You're going to have to hire that one out.
On these cell phones, when we dump them, they can get all the deleted information and all the current information, okay? So if there's something in that phone that would implicate you in anything, you need to let me know now, okay? Because this is the critical point right here, okay? So if you've been having an affair or anything like that, I need to know it.
I ain't been having no affair. I talk a lot of shit with people, but I ain't been having no affair.
Like,
Okay, so now we know that she's lying, right? We can definitely know that she's lying. Two things, right? Number one, you know too much information about your boss, right? Now, even if he comes down and y'all doing construction, because it seems like she probably deals in the construction industry and or maybe even roofing from what I'm getting from her. But you know a little bit too much information about his car. You know too much as an employee, and you're not like an administrative assistant. I haven't heard that you are administrative assistant or a personal assistant to this man. And then number two, as soon as she asked her about if you're having an affair, we can tell by photos and phone calls after we dump your phone. The first thing that she do is start to shift in her chair and say, I haven't been having no affair. That's a telltale sign that you're lying. You are lying, ma'am. You have been having an affair. You have been romantic with your boss. Even the way that she even pulled up her knees and legs, and she specifically said it once she did it. That is a sign that you're not being forthcoming. You're not telling the truth. Because that's why you had to do the shift, because you know you're lying. So you try to play it off. Like, oh no, I haven't been doing anything like that. Let's see. Tim Towndrow said, phones always get them. Yes. And thank you for stopping by. Casper said the boss done it. I don't know. I don't know necessarily. Let's see. Tim said, and she is preemptively saying, oh, yeah, I talk. Yeah, exactly. Right. Even her explaining of it, she's saying, I talk a lot of crap. So why would you talk about having, outside sex or outside relationships with people that somebody can call and say, yeah, I had a conversation with her. She said she was cheating on her husband. Why would you have that type of talk? Like, I don't, that never seemed like, a pep talk or some type of talk that you would have with people, I don't know. That's just weird to me, that she would say something like that. It's weird. Because most people who are cheating, if you're smart, you don't want to get caught, most people would say nothing, right? They would try to keep it quiet. If in fact they're probably worried about the person that they're cheating with opening their mouth and running around and telling something. So if you're having conversations with other people that you're cheating on your husband, and now you have to clear it up, like, yeah, I talk crap about that, then that also shows that, yeah, you have been dabbling in that situation. And just in case if they do interview anybody else and they tell you that, you wanted to be the first one to say, yeah, I have said something like that, but I haven't done it. Let's go on.
who do you talk shit with?
I talk shit with everybody. But when it comes down to sleeping with somebody, that's my husband. If I'm going to have sex with somebody, I'm going to have sex with my husband.
And you've never had an affair with Shabby?
No.
But you've been to New York with him?
Me, yes. I've been in New York with him. I've been to Florida to his and his wife's house.
Was she there?
Yes.
Where do they live in Florida?
Hudson. No, I'm faithful to my husband when it comes to laying down with another man.
Oh, no problem, Tim. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sylvia.
Do you think your husband was out buying drugs when he would take money out of the account?
I can't say that. He tells me he just likes to have money on him. I like to have a little bit of money on me too, but not $300-$400 at a time.
And last night she never heard any gunshots or anything.
Can I have a smoke? Why you get water?
Just a minute, I'll get somebody to go out with you.
It's a good thing that Angela smoked that cigarette because, as the detective has been questioning her, other
Now she need to smoke. Oh my goodness. Now she needs a smoke. Yeah, I know you need a smoke, man, because you are caught dead red-handed. You're caught. You're definitely going to need a smoke after this one, right? Because number one, you're lying. Number two, you've been dealing with your boss. Number three, you didn't go to New York to work for your boss. You went with him for whatever reason. You just went to New York with your boss. It had nothing to do with work. Why is a married woman going on a trip with a guy to New York? And this is not, especially your boss, and it's not for actual business purposes. What are you going for, right? And then now I'm starting to think, remember earlier when she was talking about how she just got paid and that she had like $16,000 or $19,000 saved up and she didn't want her husband to know about it, or he knew that she had money but he didn't know exactly how much. What if she was getting money from her boss? What if she was getting extra money from her boss that is not a part of the paycheck, right? Not a part of the actual pay stub. And that is probably could have been the money that she was withholding from the husband. And if they're talking about they've been having fights and domestic violence and stuff like that throughout their marriage, and they were separated at this point, living in she was living in the house with the daughter and he ended up living with a roommate or I guess a co-worker. That could have been one of the things that stemmed from it, that they had an argument. He found out that she was having an affair, found out that she was probably also getting money within this affair, and that could have led to it. That also could have led to the situation as to why she ended up unaliving him. Could be. Yeah, but she's telling a lie. She's telling herself. Yeah, Barry, she's stressing. She's definitely stressing right now. She's like, I need a cigarette. Can I get a cigarette, please? Sylvia says, was that another phone she pulled out, or they gave hers back? Yes, they gave her back her phone after they scrubbed it, Sylvia. Moa says she could. Yep. Yes. Let's see. That's a tell. Yeah, absolutely. And Sylvia said, to me, she seems to keep adding things about money, little comments she keeps making about her husband spending. Yes, exactly. And that's another red flag that raised to me, right? Because you're constantly trying to throw out that he has very bad financial habits. Okay, great. We understand that, but you married him, right? And most people, if they do have bad financial habits, guess what? You knew they had bad financial habits from the beginning. That wasn't a deal breaker with you. So her saying those things about his bad habits is because it has to be money that she's withholding that doesn't have anything to do with the household, and it doesn't have anything to do with the taking care of her daughter. And probably this is not money that is actually included into her paycheck for what she actually worked for. I do believe that she probably was getting money or gifts from her boss if she was having an affair with him. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Hi, Dawn. How you doing? You finally found me. How you doing, sweetheart? I was over there in Paris. Good to see you, sweetie. Good to see you. Let's go on.
officers had been paging through her phone for information. They didn't have to look far to find concerning things.
Okay. Now, I told you that phones, when we download them, we can get information that was deleted. So,
Hey, Dragon, thank you for coming back.
I got a little more information, and I need you to be completely honest with me, okay? I know some things have been going on between you and John, and y'all haven't been getting along.
We've been arguing a good bit, but to me, it's normal crap because we argue about everything.
Okay.
We're totally opposite, and no argument is worth all this, honest to God. Any argument him and I've ever had is worth this.
Well, by looking in your phone, there's some things in there that I think you're being deceptive about, okay, with me.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely, Sylvia.
these people you talk shit to.
Thank you
like
so much,
said.
Dragon.
Who have you been having an affair with?
I'm not having an affair.
Do you just leave these guys on and make them think you want to be with them?
I don't want to be with nobody but my husband.
The stuff that's in your phone leads me to believe that you have been having an affair. Okay? So, I need you to be completely honest with me. Because phones don't lie,
No, I know.
okay? Texting don't lie. It's there. It's in black and white. And the stuff that's in his phone, he's going to leave you.
I figured that's probably what we were coming to when we started back fighting over money. It's always fighting over money.
But you have, the money's not the issue right now. The issue is that your husband was shot 3 times, and he was scared for his life. He ran for his life. And you know more than what you're telling me. And you can't sit here and tell me you don't. You know more than what you're telling me.
I don't know anything as far as him getting hurt, because I would never want to see him get hurt. I've always been there to protect him.
Black and white don't lie. You hear me? Black and white don't lie. Phone calls, cell phone locations.
What's that mean?
That means I can ping anywhere in this town and they will tell me what cell phone was in that location. Okay?
And the location, like this morning?
Yeah.
When I was asleep?
Yeah. But you know who came over there.
I don't. I swear I don't.
You know I can pull all that off your phone. I've got it downloaded right now. Text messages, phone calls, conversations.
I know Shelby was supposed to come and wake me up this morning.
What time was Shelby supposed to come wake you up?
He was supposed to come over at 5:30 and wake me up.
Wake you up for what?
To go to work. Get up, get my daughter to
Why
school.
would he come over there and wake you up?
Because that's him. That's what he does sometimes.
You've been having an affair with him, hadn't
I
you?
swear I haven't. I've never slept with that man.
James,
You've
what
been
are you
leaving
talking
him
about?
Nope, we've talked. We've got a lot in common, but no. I'm not screwing around on my husband.
Your text messages say differently.
I know. It seems like we've had an affair. But
This lady is crazy. So she's literally trying to beat this detective in her head that the detective cannot see that the text messages that you had with your boss and other individuals are sexual in nature. They're not about business. They're not about going into work with each other, having talking about a project. They're about sexual nature things. And you're literally sitting up here, well, I wasn't having an affair. I didn't have an affair. I didn't do anything. Why would you have a man have to come to your house and wake you up to go to work? Do that make any sense? You're still legally married. Apparently, you're off and on with your husband, and you're going to have some other dude supposed to come and wake you up to go to work. Like, this lady is just doing too much. She's just doing too much, and she really thinks that the detective is going to buy it. No, I was not having an affair. No, I was not in sexual relations with these people. Yes, you were. The messages show that you were. You were. But she really believes that if I just keep on saying that I wasn't, that it's going to somehow go away. Like, no. You're not, like, even let's say, for example, let's say if I even believed her that she didn't actually go through with it, but she was thinking about going through it, and she was talking to all these guys while she's separated from her husband, right? Why not admit it? Why not admit it that you were separated from your husband? He was dating somebody, you was dating a couple of people, and we had an argument, discussion, and we decided that, you know what, the marriage is not going to work and we're not going to fix it. But why not admit it? Why are you continuing to lie even now when the detective have the evidence that you was having sexual relations while still legally married? Why are you still trying to lie to this lady? So I'm kind of concerned, because now I want to know whether or not, did one of your lovers have anything to do with your husband being unalived and gunned down in the middle of the street 4 houses away from where you're living at? Did they do it? Or did they fill you up in your head to believe if you just got rid of your husband that they can be together? I'm starting to wonder about these things. But let's go on.
You have had an affair with that man.
That
man came over this morning and shot your husband, didn't he?
No. I swear I don't know that. You call him and get him in here, but I don't even know that he ever came out there. I swear to you.
If he was supposed to be there at 5 o'clock this morning.
I told him he could come over at 5:30 and ring my doorbell and wake me up.
Why do you think your husband wanted to leave?
I don't know.
Because he found out you were having an affair.
You probably did see this before, Adrian. It's a very old case.
He just wanted to leave.
Thank you for stopping by.
And your boyfriend shot him.
I don't know that.
You don't know that?
I swear I don't. I don't even know if Shelby owns a gun.
How long you been seeing Shelby?
I haven't been seeing Shelby. I've been working for Shelby. Shelby's the one came to my house last night and was working.
She left it all in her phone, 520, and they asked and they scrubbed it, and she said yes.
What?
You and Shelby, is this something you and him put together to get rid of your husband?
No.
Hey,
I would have never had someone to kill my husband. He is too good of a person for this. He could have had a better life. Nobody, it's not worth killing somebody to be with somebody. It's not worth it. That's crazy.
Have you led Shelby to the point to where he thinks you were going to leave your husband to be with him?
Shelby knew me and my husband were arguing and had some problems. Shelby talked to me. He tried to guide me a little bit, but we've never slept together.
What was he guiding you to?
Telling me how, because I suck when it comes to words. I suck when it comes to trying to talk to somebody.
What, by your text messages, you don't have a problem at all.
I don't have a problem talking
to other men.
Well, yeah.
Okay? You don't have a problem talking to other men.
Yeah, the way that this lady is lying is ridiculous. And you know what? The detective is getting, she's getting very annoyed by this woman because she's acting like you needed someone to talk to, or you can't talk to someone. You're this introvert person. You're also an introvert on the job. Ma'am, you ain't no introvert on the job if you sleeping with the boss, okay? You're not an introvert. You're not an introvert on the job if you're sleeping with one of the co-workers as well, right? Like, you're not an introvert. A conversation had to happen between these men that was outside of work for you to be in a sexual relationship with them. So you're not that much of an introvert as you're trying to make yourself pan out for. And then you want the detective to believe that you was having conversation about your marital problems, but you're not romantically involved with any of these men. Why would you be having a marital problem or discussion with other men that is not your husband, let alone they're not even your family members? Like, if it was your family members, if you wanted to talk about marital problems with your father who married your mother, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Maybe even your brother, your older brother, uncle, granddad, things of that sort, right? But you're talking to men that you have no ties to. They're at your job when you're supposed to be working and not talking about anything else, but you're comfortable enough to talk about your marital problems and what you're upset with your husband about in your marriage with other men. And you really want us to believe that you're doing it solely because you needed someone to talk to, or because you wanted to talk to the men that you were sleeping with so they can get more of an idea why you're so unsatisfied within your marriage. And hopefully they will step up to the plate and quote unquote save you from this marriage that you're so uncomfortable with. Ma'am, if you're so uncomfortable with the marriage, leave the marriage the correct way. Walk up and take whatever you get from it, or whatever you have to go into the courts to get later on down the road. Do it that way. But having, bulking your affairs and your lovers' minds up to feel like they have to come in and super save a hoe and get you away from your husband, that can become very dangerous, especially if your husband is not that type of person that you try to let him on to for the detective to believe in the beginning. You set it up to make him seem like he's a very abusive person. However, it seems to me it doesn't mean that he doesn't seem like he was necessarily an abuser. He seemed like y'all was both going toe to toe and scrapping with each other in a very toxic marriage that lasted too long, and you didn't want to leave it because, I don't know, maybe the title, maybe the resources, maybe you didn't want to have to be in the court and actually fight for the house. And it was no guarantee that the guys that you were dealing with was going to come and save you and fill in the position that your husband was doing, right? They just screwing you. They just having sex with you, and it's all great. You're having good times, but were you ever having real conversations of future thinking with these guys? I don't think so. So you got comfortable with the simple fact of having the title. You got comfortable with the simple fact of having the home and him being able or willing to leave his home and have you and his daughter stay in that home. You was comfortable in that. And you wanted the best of both worlds. He couldn't tell you what to do anymore about sleeping around. You didn't have to share the money that you was getting from these guys with him. He didn't have his home. You had the home because you was under the you had the daughter. You enjoyed it. You enjoyed that setup, and that's why you didn't want to do it the right way. You didn't want to do it the right way. But let's go on.
I mean, truth's truth, right?
Right.
It's in black and white. Can't lie about it. Did you walk outside and shoot your husband this morning?
I was in bed. I was actually laid in the bed beside my husband at 10:36 when my daughter was coming out of the bathroom.
I don't believe you. By reading your text messages.
Yes, we are,
I don't
May.
believe you one
Thank you
bit.
for stopping by.
Angela's story is finally starting to fail her. I don't know about you, but I've never had my boss drive to my home to wake me up at 5:30 in the morning on the same day my spouse happens to get murdered. In addition, Angela suddenly recounting the exact time her daughter came out of the bathroom, 10:36, is wildly different from her earlier 10-minute struggle to remember what time she went to Walmart.
By reading your text messages? Grand jury ain't gonna believe you either.
I've never hurt my husband.
You know who did?
Not like that.
You know who did?
I don't.
How long have you and Shavy been talking?
I've been working for Shelby since June.
So y'all been talking since June. You've been leading him on since June.
I hadn't been leading him on.
By your text messages, it's different things.
I hadn't led nobody on.
When you talk to a man like that, what do you think it does to him? Woman to woman. If I talk to a man like you talk to Chavez, or Chavez, whatever his name is, that man's going to think you want to be with him. Right?
He knows I don't.
But you don't talk like that to somebody. It puts them in a different frame of mind about you and them. And that's, you know who shot the man.
I don't.
Your daughter is not going to have a mother.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for stopping by.
Because when I take your phone and all your phone records and his phone and all his phone records and present them to the grand jury, your daughter will finish school and graduate and get married and have children without her mother. Because I'm put the hammer on you.
I don't know why he did it.
You can sit here and think about it for a few minutes, and I'll be back in here. When you get ready to tell me the truth, I'll listen to you. But when I take you down there and present you to the grand jury, your daughter will finish school without you.
I can walk out now, right?
No,
I'm not under arrest.
you're not leaving.
He did this, Lord Jesus, please help me. He did this.
The detective doesn't have to wait until trial to drop the hammer on Angela. She just did. By leaving Angela alone with her thoughts and not allowing her to leave, the detective is hoping to increase her anxiety. And clearly, she's done just that.
I don't mean to be mean to you, okay? We just gotta find out what's going on, okay?
So Sylvia says, wait, assuming curious thought. So who wakes her up when her boss isn't in town to casually stop by to make sure she's up for work and her kid? Exactly. Right. Because he doesn't even live there. She said that he travels down there and he has a mobile home that he hooks up to his vehicle. So he's always traveling. He's always going around. He's not there to wake her up every single day. So why? It's just too much of a coincidence that the day that your husband gets gunned down 4 houses from your home, that's also the same day that your supposed boss or coworker was supposed to come and wake you up at your house for you to go to work. This lady is she's a lot. She's a lot. She's definitely is a handful, and rest in peace to that man, because he definitely had a handful of a wife right now. He really did. And the only reason why she's down there, like, talk about, Lord Jesus, please help me and stuff, it's not about, her husband. She don't care that her husband got gunned down. It's about the simple fact is that they're putting the pieces together to confirm that, yeah, you know what, you had a big doing in the fact that your husband is no longer here. Whether if it was you who actually shot the gun, or you manipulated men or your husband to believe that your ex, well, I would say believe that your husband, because I can't even say ex, but your husband, you made them believe that if your husband disappeared, that everything was going to be okay. Everything was going to be okay. But let's go on.
Because whoever shot him, he knew. Whoever shot him approached him at the car and shot him. He ran, screaming and yelling for help. He was shot twice in the chest and once in the head.
Oh my God.
And like I said, I don't want to be mean to you.
I would never in my life take my husband away from my daughter like that.
But would Chavez, would
I
he do
don't
that?
believe he would do that. Honestly, God, I don't believe he would do that.
I know the man was scared to death. And the man, whoever...
He's scared of somebody had a gun pointed into me.
He ran. He ran through the yards, out in the road, back into the yards, and was shot again.
I would rather him leave me, split up, than something like this happen to him.
This is a terrible, terrible, unfortunate event for you and your daughter and his children, because now they don't have a father. And by looking in your face,
I just want to say this, right? What else did you expect if you're telling your lovers that your husband is this really horrible guy and he's very abusive, and that you're fearful of your life, and you can't get away from him if he's that type, right? Because we do know that there are those possessive, abusive type that will stalk their ex-wives, and that wife can do the right thing, and this man feels that he owns her and continues to stalk her throughout his life, stalk the individuals that she's around or dating. We get that. But what do you really expect by telling your lovers that this is what your husband is, even if it's not the truth? Like, maybe I'm thinking that this guy is not the guy that you try to paint he was in the beginning. What do you think he's going to do? If he's supposed to be this quote unquote protector and defender, and you're fearful of your life that you can't get out of this marriage, of course he's gonna, if he's a protector, he's gonna think of the two ways that he wants to handle it, right? He can do it through the courts, he can get the law enforcement involved, or he's gonna handle it his own way and handle this man. So she know that what she was saying to these individuals, right? She know how she was expressing her distaste of her marriage or this distaste of her husband to these men. They don't just go out there and just be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we had a bad marriage. I don't like how he speaks to me, and he spends too much money, and I need to get out of it. Oh, okay, well, great. Let me go get my gun. Like, that doesn't make any sense. They don't do stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense. You had added on things that made them to believe that it was a serious situation where you had to get out of it. You had to get out of it, and you was fearful that you wasn't going to get out of it with your life. So I'm really concerned about, now about the things that she said about the abuse. especially from in the beginning. It was said that she pulled out a knife on her husband before, and in an altercation, she cut his knees, both of his knees. She cut him. So it's like, if you're cutting someone, right, or you're able to pull out a weapon and use it in self-defense, you're not that afraid of this said individual, right? Not the way that you try to lead it up to when you were speaking with the detectives. You have fought with this guy before. You said that you had the opportunity to call the cops. You never called the cops. And the reason why you never called the cops, because you would have gotten arrested, because you tend to be the aggressor in all the past altercations that you have, pulling knives and stabbing him and cutting him and stuff. This is a lot. It's a lot to unpack with this lady's mindset and her thinking. She has, like, I don't know, it's like, it seemed like she has like two-sided type of thinking, right? She wants to be the aggressor, and she also wants to be the victim at the same time. It seemed like you was in control, or you had dominant control in the marriage, and then you also had control after the marriage. So the whole entire time I'm seeing that you're in control. So for you to just play like you've been this victim this whole entire time, I really just, I can't see it. I can't see it at all. But let's go on.
Honey, you're not innocent. I may not be innocent from talking to guys, but I had nothing to do with my husband. I could not see somebody losing their life over no kind of argument. I couldn't take my husband away from his daughter like this. Me and this man is all that child has.
Have y'all just maybe fallen out of love, you and him? Maybe you didn't love him anymore, that way that's what you were going to these other men for, how they talked to you or whatever? The things that they said to you? Even though
Thank you for stepping by.
with them.
None of it is worth this.
Remember how when you were a teenager, okay, you and John met, y'all talking, texting, whatever, back 16 years ago. I don't think texting was that prominent, but you remember the feelings that you had when somebody engaged you and made you feel like a new person. The text messages between, how do you say his name, Chavez? Shabby? Why do you call him that when his name is started?
When I first met him, that's what I was introduced, was Shabby.
Just Shabby. S-H-O-V.
S-H-A-B-I.
Thanks, Tim. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
It seems like you and him text quite a bit. I mean, did he take it the wrong way, I wonder? Do you think he's capable of doing something like that?
I don't think so.
Anybody that you hang out with, do you think they're capable of doing something like that?
I wouldn't think so. I don't hang out with a bad crowd. I get up, I go to work, take my daughter to school, I go to work. I work all day and I come home.
When you're at work, do you flirt with those guys?
I work with Theo.
Which is your stepdad?
That's not the person I work with. I work with Shelby, and normally when I'm working with Shelby, Theo's with me, or my dad's with me.
Have you met Shelby outside of work without anybody else?
A couple of times, but
were y'all
nothing.
In public? Were y'all?
Yeah, definitely in public.
I mean, you know, apparently things have gotten so bad that your husband texts several people about rooms for rent. He wanted to leave you.
Well, he got tired of me working all the time. He did tell me that. Because sometimes I'd work till 7 o'clock at night.
But it seems like to me y'all both worked a lot.
And that's what I kept trying to tell him. What is the difference in me working a lot when you're working the same? You're working a lot. You're working overnight. Or are you working overnight?
Well, I have to tell you, Angie, you go by Angie or Angela, by your text messages, honey, it don't look good. It looks like you were having an affair with Shabby. I ain't trying to be mean, but you know when you talk to people in that manner.
Somebody tells me all the time I have that way about me, that I talk to people and I don't realize that I do it. Like, I don't know. John used to say something to me all the time, because we'll go to the store and like, alright hon, thanks. And he gets mad at me for that. But that's just me, I couldn't help it. I was like, sorry sweetie, thanks hon.
Wait, is she a flirtatious introvert? Because 1 minute she says that she's an introvert, she doesn't know how to speak to people on the job and all the stuff like that. But then now is, oh, everybody tells me I have a way of talking, and my husband used to have a problem how I would have conversations with other men. So you was very flirtatious, which is a extrovert attribute, not an introvert attribute. So I'm wondering. I could be wrong. Y'all gotta let me know in the chat. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting. I don't know what's going on.
He's like, do you know them? I'm like, no. Well, why do you say that?
Do you say stuff like that to Shabby?
Hun? I call everybody hun.
Do you say, okay, sweetie, okay, darling? You know, do you think maybe that this man's gotten attached to you?
I'm sure he's gotten attached to me, but it's not like that type of attachment. He talks and tells me all the time how, you know, me working, because him and I work, like, together. We do things faster than me and Theo would do them.
Is Theo there when he's there?
Yeah.
So you're never alone with him? Except for when you met him outside of work a few times? And then when you went to New York, were you and John together?
Yeah.
And he knew you went to New York?
John was okay with it. I had my own hotel room. He stayed by his wife's daughter's house.
And what did y'all do in New York?
Roofed a house.
So this man works all over.
He owns houses. He owns houses in New York, he owns in Florida, and he owns debris here.
And you've worked for him how long?
Since June
of last year?
Yes, ma'am.
And John moved back in August?
Mm-hmm.
And
John's actually came out on the job with me when I was working in Memphis with Shabby. John's talked to him a lot when he's like out.
Has Shabby been arrested that you know of?
I don't know. I don't know anything about his background. The only thing I do know is he's from Israel originally, but lives in Florida. And I know he lived in New York at one point, and then him and his wife decided to move to Florida where it was warmer.
How old is this man? 40s, 50s, 60s?
He's in his 50s.
So he's approximately the same age as your husband, maybe?
I guess.
Whoever shot him walked right up on him and shot him. And then they chased him down and shot him in the head. This was not a crime of coincidence. This was somebody wanted John dead. Now your daughter has no father, and your daughter will not have a father to walk her down the aisle or see her graduate or see her grandkids. Your daughter will have an empty hole in her chest and her heart for the rest of her life because somebody has taken her father away from her.
Angela's reaction to being reminded of the pain her daughter will go through growing up without a father is, well, no reaction. And that lack of reaction continues as the detective presses harder.
You never heard a gun.
Mm-mm.
You never heard your husband scream.
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
No, wow. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm trying to think. I was asleep. I heard the knock on the door, which was more than just a knock, you know. It was
Popo bang.
Yeah. And I was shaking. I woke up shaking. Like, what, you know, it startled me. I didn't know what the crap was going on.
Because for someone whose husband was just violently murdered, you seem like you have no emotions.
Got a lot going through my mind. I know it's going to hit me. I want to know who did it.
You know, if your daughter finds out you had anything to do with this, she'll hate you for the rest of her life.
I'd never do this to my kids. I'd never do nothing to hurt my kids. This would devastate her.
This will crush her. Do you have the key to the shed?
Now I do got a question. Because it sounds like I'm going to have to have an attorney.
No, they're just looking for a gun. We're checking the backyard, the woods behind the house.
They've been in my house.
No, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're here, so the officer sitting in your driveway, I do know that. But they want to check the locked shed to see if there's a gun in there. She thinks that's it right there.
Thank you.
They're walking behind y'all's houses. They started from that cove area, and they're going through those woods.
Well, I know to go through somebody's personal belongings, they're supposed to have a warrant. You know, I am being cooperative.
Oh, I know.
I'm not
being overly cooperative. I understand that.
I know I'm
We're just-
innocent. I didn't do it.
And
I had nothing to do with it.
I know you've watched TV, so you know that the spouse is normally,
Always the
Okay.
first person to be suspected.
and that's what we're trying to do, eliminate
Hello,
you.
Cookie Scream.
Okay?
Thank you for your kind
And
words.
then I'll need to
Appreciate you.
talk to Caitlin and eliminate her. I don't see a problem with that.
A 15-year-old shoot her daddy.
It's
She
happened.
was sleeping.
It's happened.
You
So,
know, when I woke her up, I told her.
I know, I stood behind her. I just told her. You know, it's,
I'd like to know who did it.
it's an unfortunate situation, and,
Nope.
and now
Yeah,
you're looking
she
for
has
people
not.
you really don't know. Plus, the text messages that you got in your phone can be misleading, especially for a man that may or may not want you. Okay? I hope you understand that. Because you said John's, talked to you about that before, You're kind of like me, you're oblivious to
I'm super naive
Yeah.
when it comes to things.
So,
John said he was been on there for 16 years about being naive.
but when we dump a cell phone, it dumps the deleted, and I can look at all your deleted and all your current, okay? I want you to understand that. Okay? I'm gonna read it all, okay? I'm just trying to be up front and forward with you, okay?
So the detective's trying to just keep her calm. They clearly have more than enough evidence to book her on something. That's why now it's been almost an hour into this interview, and now the detective is saying, okay, well, I'm going to read you I'm going to read you your rights now, after they done confiscated her cell phone and dumped it. Now they asked her for the keys of her house, so they're going to go look for the murder weapon. They have a lot of information already, and now it's just about keeping her calm and seeing if they can get a confession from her. But they do have enough information to actually charge her. If they cannot charge her for the committing the actual unaliving of her husband, they probably have information from those messages of her affairs that will lead to that she was in cahoots with the unaliving of her husband. But let's go on.
Well, I know who has the nerve to come into the driveway when nobody ever comes to our house. Theo comes to my house a couple times a year, but he's on parole.
Who?
Theo.
That's your stepfather? What's his real name?
CSO.
I don't think so either, Barry. I don't
That's
think
his
so.
real name.
That's his real name. It's on his birth certificate.
And what's his last name?
Norval, Norvell. He was in prison for murder.
You see, these are some things I probably should have known ahead of time. What about your by name father?
Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D.
Henry.
N-M-A-R-D.
Has he ever been locked up?
He's Army.
How old is CSO?
He's in his 50s. He was born in 50, I think. He's old. He's been out of prison for 5 years. He's on parole. The only way he's allowed to cross the state line would be get a piece of paper from his parole officer.
Or do it and nobody know? Have you been saying things to CO like, me and John are fighting, I'm tired of his ass?
Well, me and Theo talk. We work together. We talk, but I don't think any of my problems with John or our fights would cause him to flip.
And it's CSO.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me go pull some records on him real quick, okay?
Can I go smoke while you're there?
Will Craig, he'll smoke with you.
I just need to be out.
Angela's stepfather, who served as her father throughout the majority of her life, wasn't just imprisoned for murder. He was imprisoned for murdering the estranged boyfriend of one of his daughters. One night in the 1990s, he walked up to the home of the man, knocked on the door, and shot him point blank. He was sentenced to prison for 60 years, but only served 20. Pretty odd coincidence that another one of his daughters ended up with a dead partner, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
All right. As you've already seen me, I'm Sergeant Dixon. measure cops. What we're gonna do is call alternate light source, okay? Alternate light source can detect gunshot residue, blood, stains, all that good stuff, okay? So what I'm gonna actually have you do is I'm gonna have you stand, I'm gonna take normal photos of you, straight up and down, keep your jacket on. Take normal photos of you first, okay? Just me and you. And then I'm gonna have him turn on the light. When he turns on the light, I may have you sit down and put your hands on the desk, things like that. We're gonna turn off the light, but it's gonna be plenty bright enough in there without light, okay? And then we're gonna take more photos. You understand so far? I know it's a lot. All right. Just put your arms right straight up down. I'll show you. All right. Be back in just a minute.
I'm a criminal and I haven't done nothing. My husband is dead and I'm being treated like I killed him.
Okay. I'm gonna need somebody to come bring you some clothes, okay? The light that they just used, this is my forensic expert, okay? You have gunshot residue all over you.
How is that?
You fired a weapon.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I did not see this coming. I really didn't. I really didn't. But here's what happened. Like I said, if she did not commit the actual crime, she was well aware of who was going to commit the crime because you sent them to go do it. Now, it's crazy that she has gun residue found on her, meaning she didn't do a good job of cleaning up or washing or anything like that. And now, even though she's saying, I didn't shoot a gun, I didn't shoot anything. Well, just because you didn't shoot a gun, that doesn't mean that you didn't hold a gun in your hand, right? Or you didn't try to dispose of a gun that was used, right? I mean, those things count too. This is crazy. Wow. I was not expecting that. I am flabbergasted. Let's go.
Well, the evidence proves that you did.
And this jacket, I just got out of my closet this morning. I haven't even worn it since November.
Your hands tell the truth. That little test I did on you, where I swabbed the back of your hand, your palm, and that light that he just used on you, you're going to go to jail.
I haven't seen, well, I've held my gun, but I've not shot a gun.
You don't get residue on you unless you shoot a gun. You have blowback all over you, all over your clothes.
I don't see how that's possible.
All over your pants, all over your hands. Okay?
How is this possible when I've been in the bed all
Let
night?
me tell you, your daughter is fixing to be without a mother. She is fixing to go through graduation,
No.
hating you. She is going to go
I
through
swear,
getting
I was
married.
in my bed.
You're not going
Oh.
to see grandchildren for the rest of your life. Do you understand me?
I'm listening, but I have not been out of my house.
Remember when I
until
told you
y'all
that
woke me up this morning?
I knew by your phone, I can ping the towers in that area?
I've
Why
not been
would you
out
shoot him?
I did not shoot him. I swear I did not shoot my husband. I haven't shot a gun since me and my son went to the gun range.
And how long ago was that?
December. Yeah.
This lady, oh my God, ma'am, just come clean already. There's nothing that you can possibly do. They found gun residue all over you. And let's say if you did try to, stage it, right? You was in your bed and you heard a loud noise when everybody was telling you, or the cops came and said your husband got shot. Why on God's green earth would you put back on the same clothes that you committed a crime with? I don't understand it. I really don't. And I guess because, they're not really thinking about the particles that is flying all around when you're shooting weapons, right? They're very small particles, so small that you cannot even see it with your human eye, right? That's why they had to bring in the laser and stuff like that to actually see these particles so they can actually test it and to confirm whether or not if it came from a weapon or a bullet. And you're still sitting here trying to say that it wasn't you. Who put on your clothes? I mean, if that's what she's trying to say, like if she's saying that it wasn't her, who put on your clothes, ma'am? Someone had to put on your jacket, someone had to put on your pants, someone had to put on your sweatshirt, someone had to put on your shoes. They found all of that all over your body right now. Literally right now. You was right there. This is not like they told you to get undressed. They took your clothes and they examined it while they put you in other clothes. They didn't do that. And then you could say, aha, you took my clothes. You could have put something on it. That's not what they did. They literally did it right there while you're inside you was in those clothes. And I don't know what else is she trying to convince them of, that she didn't do anything. I mean, if I was smart, if she was smart, because she obviously we see that she's not smart, I would have said I went to the doggone range today. I was at the range earlier today. So if you see any gun residue, that's where it came from. Yep. But nope, she's not smart. Let's go. Let's go on. We only got a few more minutes left. Shout out to everyone that's been coming in, stopping by. Make sure you hit the like button for me. Later on when the stream is over, comment. Let me know of any other cases that you want to review. And share this out to any of your friends who like these shows or who would be interested in the channel, who likes to go over old cases and new cases together as a community. But let's go on.
You can either make it easy for yourself, or I can just go ahead and indict you. And once I charge you,
I did not shoot my husband.
Oh, I have. It's really good, Jessica. Thank you for stopping by.
The residue that's on your hands would not be there if you hadn't fired a weapon.
I have not fired a weapon.
Okay.
I swear to God, I swear on my child's life, I have not fired a weapon.
You want to tell us what happened this morning?
I was in the bed when the cops woke me up this morning. Yeah.
What happened?
I was in the bed when the cops woke me up this morning.
That's when you have to go.
Right.
Have a
Can I
nice
use
day.
your phone since I can't use mine?
Mr. Bill.
Being framed.
Angela starts to panic and attempts to open the door to.
No, she did not just say she's being framed. No! She's being framed now. Ma'am, you're not being framed. Because, I mean, honestly, who else would take your clothes? I hope that you're not one of those horrible moms, right? Like, we could tell that you're a horrible spouse, right? We can just like put that to the side. You're a horrible spouse. But I hope you're not a horrible mom, that you would get so desperate that you will potentially try to set your own daughter up as framing you to unalive her own father. I hope you are not that woman. I'm really hoping, I'm praying to God that you're not one of those women, okay? Like, seriously. But let's go on.
Ask detectives a question, which goes about as well as you would expect.
No. I'm just gonna ask a question. Okay. Calm down. I'm not trying to.
Yes, ma'am.
Try to dip, dragons.
I swear to y'all, I've not shot a gun in months. Several months.
Yes, we do preach this here, Y2 Kimberly. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
No, you don't. You're an
Yeah, I do.
officer. Y'all like to frame us. Innocent people. That's what's happening.
Okay.
I'm being framed for something I didn't do. I went to sleep at 11 o'clock last night. I woke up when the cops were beating on my door this morning. I have a conscience. I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself to take my child's father away from her. This is all she has with her mom and daddy. We don't have family here. There's nothing that man could do to me in this world to make me want to kill him. He was tied up in outside our home, I don't know. But I know I didn't do it.
You think he was involved in anything work-related or anything that people that he...
I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
put words in his mouth. The man is not here to defend himself. I can't do it to him. I know he liked his pain pills. I know he liked money, and what he did with his money, I don't know. But I cannot be framed for something I didn't do.
Yep,
How did a
they are,
gunshot residue
but it's
get on your hand?
I
more
don't know
so
how.
considered
That's
fabrication,
way beyond
or
me.
I guess in a
I
way
mean, it can only get there if you
leading
fire a
them
weapon.
to tell on
Well, I
themselves.
understand that. Unless what? It's from work. You know, I do construction work. I use those nails with the hammers to hammer the stuff into the concrete. That's the only other way.
Angela, gunshot residue would not be on your hands if you had not picked up a gun and fired it.
I have not shot a gun.
The evidence does not lie.
I have not shot a gun in months. I put that on my daughter's life, and that's my whole life right there.
Well, your daughter's up here. Okay.
I have not shot a gun in months. Months. The last time I shot a gun was with my son at the gun range.
All those pictures we just took, all that gunshot residue is all over you. Your hands are glowing.
I don't know how.
Because you shot a gun.
I haven't shot a gun. God's my witness, I have not shot a gun.
And let me just explain something to you, okay?
Why would I be sitting
You lied to
here?
me.
But Angela is not the only one lying. This may be a good time to mention that legally, law enforcement is allowed to lie about evidence in an interrogation room in order to get a confession. If a person believes that they're going down for a crime they didn't do, they may tell officers who actually did commit the crime. Our team could find no evidence that Angela had gunshot residue on her clothes. As the end of this case unravels, you'll see why it's highly unlikely she did what the detective is about to accuse her of.
When you shot your husband this morning,
I
what'd you do
didn't
with
shoot
it?
my husband. I don't have a conscience to shoot somebody.
I believe that. I believe you don't have a conscience.
I don't have one to shoot somebody.
You're gonna be charged, okay?
Now I got to look up the
In a minute.
Can I use the phone? Can I use the phone?
In a minute. You use phone.
No, I've been super cooperative all day.
Except for you've lied to
I'm
me.
not lying to you.
Go back in the room and sit down.
Larry, I'm not lying to you.
Go back in the room and sit down.
I'm not lying to you.
Sit right there. Sit down.
I'm not lying to you.
I've done everything I can do for you. I can't help you after this point. The evidence points to you.
How
And
can
I'll-
anything be on my hands and
all I
everything?
can
And I've
do-
never shot a gun.
All I can do is go.
So yeah, Kimberly, yeah, it's perfect timing. Definitely perfect timing, right? But I will say this is that this lady, she would have been good from the get-go. She shouldn't have answered any questions. If she would have just became quiet and got a lawyer, talked to a lawyer, let them know what was going on and what happened that day, and let them speak to her, then she probably would have been good. Because yes, in this situation, they can fib, right? They can fabricate some truths to see if they put you in a position where it's all going to be put on you. Are you going to squeal? Even if you don't squeal and say, yeah, I did it. Well, guess what? You will squeal and say, well, I know who did do it. Right. And that's what they want. They want the actual truth. Who did it? And if it's you, great. And if it's not you, great. But if you tell me who actually did it, super great. Right. Because they just want to solve this case. In this situation right here, obviously they lied to her. She didn't have no residue on him, but they really did set the part up to make her believe that, oh my God, I'm about to take this all by myself. They're saying that I did it, and I know I didn't shoot the weapon. But I think the real reason why she's not saying who did, and she haven't said it yet, is because she knows once she tells the truth who shot the weapon, and it most likely would be one of her lovers, there is no relationship to go back to after that, right? Like, I don't think they're going to want to be in a relationship with you after that. You probably might also need to like move, maybe. Just saying. But I think that's one of the reasons why she is not telling the truth. But listen, she should have known that she could have, even now, she still could have been able to walk out, because she really wasn't arrested. They didn't really read her rights, right? So she could leave, but mentally they know that they got her. So that's why, by telling her, no, you need to sit down, and pretty much playing it as like, we got you detained, and there's no leaving, there's no going home, and there's no going to get a lawyer. Her state of mind right now is just like, I just need to do something to make this go away. I need to get out of this office. I know I didn't do anything. And that's how she's reacting to it. So they have her mentally they have her. She could have left anytime throughout this whole hour situation. But let's see, we have a few minutes left of this situation. So let's see what she says. Let's see what happens. She did get charged. Apparently, she got charged for this, but let's see what she says.
Both my evidence. So go over there and have a seat before I lose my patience with you.
Don't bring with me. Phone.
After another 2 hours of waiting in the interrogation room, Angela was released back to her new life as a widow. As sure as detectives were that she was somehow involved in John's murder, they had no physical proof, like a weapon, fingerprints, or DNA linking her to the crime. Cheating may break hearts, but it doesn't stop them, which means law enforcement was still a long way from charging her with murder. That is, until she and her 20-year-old son got into an altercation 6 months after John's murder. Law enforcement was called to stop the fight, which escalated over Angela taking her son's car away. As soon as law enforcement arrived, Angela's son told them that he knew not only who killed John, but where the weapon was. Angela's son reported to officers that Angela disclosed to him that she had her stepfather, CSO Norvell, kill her husband. She had even asked her son to take the gun, which was in a tub of cat litter, and toss it into a pond, which he refused to do. Law enforcement quickly located the gun and ammo hidden in the crawl space under CSO's home. The gun was registered to Angela, and the ammunition matched what was used to end John's life. Angela was sentenced to 20 years for her role in her husband's murder, and her stepfather was acquitted by a jury.
That is crazy. That is, wow, that is so crazy. Wait a minute. So now it makes perfect sense why they added that little tidbit information in the middle about her stepfather having to unalive the mate of one of his other daughters, right? In the beginning. Now it makes perfect sense. So you went and got stepdad because stepdad is nuck if you buck, right? He don't care. You ask him to take somebody out, he gonna take somebody out. He don't got no problem with it. Like he did the time, he did a bid, he beat the case. He's like, it's whatever, it's all in profit. Like that's how stepdad was giving it up. Stepdad was not playing out here. He would literally unalive any of these fools for his daughter. So the stepdad did it. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's unfortunate that, you know, that she even put herself in that situation. She did that to her daughter. She did that to her husband. You should have just left. You should have just left and going to find someone to unalive him and all the stuff like that. Like, why? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like the person anymore, you don't want to be in a marriage anymore, leave. Just leave. Why do people make it seem like that is the hardest thing to do? And I'm not saying if you're in an abusive relationship, because we know that abuse, real physical abuse, even verbal and mental abuse, is hard to get out of those cages. But when you're when you're cognitive and you know the reason why you're leaving this, and you know that the danger that can be that can happen while you staying in that household or staying in that relationship, leave. Just leave. Don't resort to this. Don't resort to this at all. I would even say that this is a last resort. Do not resort to this at all, because now you say that you love your daughter, but guess what? Your daughter don't have a father anymore. And you didn't seem, and from what you were saying about him, he didn't seem like he was a bad father. So you took something away from her, then you had to go to prison for 20 years. Guess what? What the detective said actually came true. You wasn't going to be around to see your daughter graduate, and you definitely wasn't going to be around to see your daughter, get wet, right? She said it. So, whew, that was crazy. That was a real one. That was crazy right there. That was really crazy. All right. So since this one was an hour and some change long, I'm going to do one more for you guys, and then we're going to head out. Shout out to everyone who's been rocking with me for this long. I truly appreciate you. Let's see. So the next one that I have is, there was this man named Joseph, and he thinks that he's about to go home, but he's about to F around and find out that that is not the case for you, sir, because there's more information that they found out that you was involved in this situation, and we're going to see this play out. All right, so shout out to everyone watching. Hit the like button, and let's begin.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
The address that I'm at is Work Circle, but I need to file a missing persons report.
Okay, and when was she last seen?
Well, by me, it was Thursday morning. I left for work at 7 a.m. She left sometime between 7:30 and 8, and I have not seen her since.
This is Janine Catazano. She was reported missing on December 29th, 2018, by her husband, Joseph Traeger. Joseph told police that the last time he had seen her was on November 29th, right before he left to go to work for the day. The police thought this was strange because it meant that he had waited just over 3 days to report that his wife was missing. The other thing that the law enforcement found odd was how Joseph did not appear to be upset over the disappearance of his wife. In fact, Even when he was interviewed by the local news, he continued to show very little emotion.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Absolutely not. Listen, I've had the police here 3 different times, crime scene investigators. They went through the house. There's nothing, whatchamacallit, nothing for me to be suspect of, you know.
Joseph and Janine had been married for over 10 years. Joseph had an extensive criminal history that went back almost 30 years and involved committing crimes in multiple states. Joseph had a violent temper as well, and his lifelong addiction to heroin did not help his battle with anger. Janine had filed multiple police reports against her husband, claiming domestic violence, yet she continued to stay, hoping that one day their relationship could be repaired. With all of this information, the police requested that Joseph come in and take a lie detector test, because they wanted to see if Joseph had anything to do with Janine's disappearance.
You again, would it be okay to call you?
If who needs to talk to me?
We need to.
You can call me anytime you want. I've got nothing to hide.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, I mean, listen, I know this whole situation does not look great. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if I was responsible for anything, you guys would never have found me. And I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
So,
You have anything else?
what time is it?
It's 3:40.
You said this was going to be quick.
Yeah, he's laughing and stuff. What's
okay.
going on here?
We getting up? All right.
My feet don't even touch the ground, so
No.
it's not very comfortable.
Joseph would fail the lie detector test. All the evidence and information the police had would lead to Joseph. They would need a confession from him to charge him with anything. There was still the possibility that Janine was tired of the toxic and abusive relationship, and she had decided to leave. This still seemed very unlikely, as the home the couple lived in belonged to only Janine, and she had many friends and family members who also had not heard from her. The investigators on this case decided to have Joseph come back in so they could see if they could get him to confess as to what actually happened to his wife.
Lock that in. Done deal. Done deal. Indisputable at this point in time. Gavel comes down. End of the show. The end. Star Spangled Banner 1975 TV goes off.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens from here is still affectable. We can still affect how we move forward.
No.
Yes, we can.
How?
Listen, you firmly believe, you said this to me, I'm not walking out of here tonight. But if that was the case, why are we still sitting here? Why am I still sitting here with you talking to you? Why am I wasting my time if I don't need to? Why am I wasting my time? This is done.
Damn.
I don't need to sit here.
Wow.
I gotta be back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. My shift starts at 8. Why am I still sitting here talking to you if this was over?
Hold on. The detective is sick of him. I'm sorry, because this is not a laughing matter. A woman lost her life, and rest in peace to this woman, and prayers to her family. But this detective is sick of this man's crap. He's like, bro, why am I still sitting here? I can be home. I can be eating. I can be with my family. Why are you putting me through this? Right? Let's go. Tell me what's going on. And you can also look at him too, right? And he has his demeanor. His arms is folded. He's not trying to be open. He's not trying to open up, right? He's not trying to be forthcoming. He got his head tilted to the side. He got a smirk on his face, right? Very, and we're talking about his wife here, right? This is not some random person on the street or some random person that you heard on the news. This is your wife. This is the person that you said I do to, you said you committed to, and you don't have this real type of care at all. You just like, oh, I'm not going to be able to leave. So, I don't know what you're asking me. Like, it doesn't read correctly. Mind you, I do know that people grieve differently, but certain things that you do, let's go on.
That makes no sense to me. Write it up, done. Walk away. You know why? Because I go home.
Joe, tell us what happened.
There are many different ways an interrogator can approach a suspect to try and get a confession. Everything is planned before the suspect is brought in, even the positioning of the chairs and the temperature of the room. They have dealt with Joseph before, and they know that he is a hardened criminal with a lifetime of violent crimes, so they know they can't try and play on his emotions to get what they need. They need to intimidate a man that has spent most of his life intimidating others, so first, they make sure to outnumber him 2-1. Next, the detectives must be very aggressive and loud because that is the language Joseph speaks. If they were to approach him with soft, sympathetic voices, Joseph would look at them like they were prey.
You arrived at that house. After you arrived at that house, she never left again. She didn't show up to the doctor. She didn't show up to the gym. The doctor was a life-threatening appointment. If she doesn't show up to, she could die. Her phone goes dead, all at the time you arrived at the house Wednesday morning. Tell us what happened. Tell us what happened.
There's nothing to tell.
I don't understand how you can sit here, look at me and Josh,
Tell us what happened.
and say that. Tell us what happened.
At this point, just tell us.
What happened? There's absolutely something to tell, and you want to tell it.
What do you mean I want to tell it?
You want to tell
If
it.
there was something to tell.
I just want to point out that it's very important for when detectives do their job correctly and not just stay with one tactic that works with certain suspects and think that that's going to work with everyone, right? You have to start to read the room. You have to start to gauge that person's personality and their character and play on that, especially when you're using these tactics to get the truth, to solve a case, or to even get a confession. So shout out to these detectives. They knew a little bit about this guy's background. They knew what he would perceive as someone being soft. If you're like timid or you're talking to him to his emotional standpoint, he doesn't react to that. He reacts to aggression. He reacts to someone signifying that they're the big dog or the top dog in the situation. That's where he reacts. So they want to get a reaction out of him, and they're filling it out to see what technique is going to work. So I just wanted to point that out. Shout out to these detectives, just not, staying on one tactic and thinking that it's going to work. Let's see. Benjamin said, I'm new. Are you a detective? I am not a detective, but I do enjoy looking at the psychology of criminal activities and also the tactics that is used when it comes down to solving these crimes. But thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Let's go on.
I tell you, there is 100% something to tell, and you want to tell it, and you'll feel better when you tell it. So let's get there. Let's do it together. Let's do it.
Listen, there's no let's do it together. There's no...
Oh, no, you're right. You know what? You're right.
What?
There's no let's do it together. You know why? Because we don't need it. And we can't tell it. We can't tell it, Joe. We can't tell it. We can't tell. We don't have anything to tell together. You're absolutely 100% right.
You got your story, and you're going to stick to it.
No, we don't have a story, Joe. We have facts. The facts tell the story.
You got your facts that tell the story, and you're sticking to it.
No, I'm not sticking to it. The facts stick to it. I don't change the facts.
What do you want us to do with the facts?
The facts don't change, Joe. We can't. We can't do this to you.
Your facts are wrong.
No, Joe. Listen.
Your facts are wrong.
Joe.
Hey, RJ, it's good to see you. How's everything? Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you.
This is the point in time where I start to get I don't know whether I want to continue having this discussion with you. Because at this point, I'm starting to believe there was one person in all this who said that Joe's a fucking asshole, he don't give a shit about anybody else. And he's not going to tell you by the way, he killed her. And that's the end of it.
The detectives need to take into account that Joseph is a heroin addict. Heroin is made from morphine and can cause its user to feel very calm and drowsy, even in a high-anxiety situation. They realize that this drug can numb Joseph's real emotions and cause him not to care at all, which will make extracting a confession that much harder. They need to be as intimidating as they can to break through to Joseph, and when that happens, they will need to switch to a more sympathetic approach.
That person would surprise you, but that's what happened.
That person would surprise me.
Yeah, it was one person in all this said that he did it, he doesn't care, he doesn't have a conscience, and it doesn't matter. And you know what? And we went, well, 10 people saying one thing and this is saying the other one. But you know what? I'm at that point in time right now tonight where I'm starting to go, well, wait a minute. Maybe this is the long shot. Maybe this is the 100 to 1 underdog that had this pegged right from the beginning. Maybe that's it. Because I'm getting to the point, Joe, where I don't need you. I don't need you to do this. I don't need you to sit here. We have it without you. We have it without you. So now I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm starting to waste my time. And if there's one thing we haven't talked about, it's the fact that I really hate to waste time. I really hate to waste time. I really do. So we're getting to that point where you and I both know that you're not expecting her to come home. That's a done deal. We all know that. You're not expecting her to come home. You remove stickers from the car.
Stickers from the car.
You're making changes. You know, in the house.
I would say definitely more of a hobby. I do, however, did take a minor in it.
You're not following up with Detectable Zone on a regular basis like a really concerned person would do. If it was me, I'd be camped out in the lobby all day long. I wouldn't leave.
The detective makes a great point, saying that Joseph is not acting like a person who just lost the love of their life. Not only do police officers deal with criminals on a daily basis, but they also deal with innocent people who are victims of crimes or are put into terrible situations. They watch how an innocent person acts when something tragic happens to them, then compare it to how a guilty person will act. An innocent person will react to a situation, whereas a guilty person will just act. Unless you're an Oscar-winning actor, someone who is showing genuine emotions is far more convincing than someone pretending to.
We got to dinner tonight. Her picture's up on the wall at Outback.
So this is a good one. So not another tarot reader says, seems like he knows the game being played with the approach and is given the right back to them unless he's high, as the narrator stated. Yes, it's both, right? He does know the game. They stated that these detectives have dealt with him before, so they do know his criminal background. And also he is on drugs. So that's why a lot of the calm demeanor, you know, how he is, he's calm because he's under some form of substance. And also he knows what to do, right? This is not his first rodeo. And Mr. Cylinders said, I would like a lawyer. Yeah, that's what he should have said. They should have said that. Yes. He also said that, yeah, exactly. So this is why we all should know that we advocate on this channel, whether if you're right or wrong, go get a lawyer and remain silent. Do not talk to these detectives. They are not here for you. They're not here to help you. They're also not here to clear your name either, right? They're not here to help you. They're here to get whatever information that they need to get. And if they decide that all the information together is leading to getting a conviction from you, that's what they're going to do. So if in your best interest, just remain silent and go get that lawyer, okay? Just go get the lawyer. All right, let's go on.
You know when you went, oh, Janine's picture. You're not expecting her to walk back in the door, Joe. You know what I know. At this point in time, everybody who sees this and everybody who looks at this is going to come to the same conclusion. But when it's all said and done, you're going to be left alone on the island, all by yourself, with nobody to help you. And this time, there'll be no more trips to the Hard Rock.
Apparently, yeah.
This is the point in time where you have to make
Ain't nothing but the truth. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Decisions now at this point. Decisions now.
Yes, Benjamin. Never ever talk.
Right,
just don't do it.
and have a chance.
The detectives switch their tone and become
Yes.
far less aggressive. When a dominant person meets another more dominant person, in this case, two more, and they realize they cannot intimidate them, they will most likely try to calm the other person because they do not like the feeling of being the one that's intimidated. The detectives realize they are close to a confession, so they ask Joseph if he would like to get something to eat at the local Chick-fil-A. A suspect will be more willing to confess if they believe they are getting something in return, almost like a trade or a reward. During the meal, Joseph tells the police what happened the night of his wife's disappearance.
I've known my wife since we're 9 years old, 10 years old. We've known each other for 40 years. We had financial problems, so all marriages go through problems, nothing major.
You're desperate to get her back home.
Absolutely.
What would it mean to you to get her
It
back
would mean
home?
the world to me to get her back. It would mean everything.
This must just hurt you, just tear you
It's killing me.
apart.
I haven't slept in 3 weeks.
Joseph tells police that he had been taking a shower, and after the shower, he went downstairs where he found Janine lying on the ground. He claimed that his wife had a seizure and had fallen and hit her head on the kitchen floor. Joseph said that he panicked, fearing that he would be the one that was blamed, so he took his wife's body and put it into 3 large trash bags and placed them into a trash bin that was emptied later that day.
I'm not understanding that. If it was an accident and it had nothing to do with you, why would you go to that amount? Why would you do that instead of, I don't know, calling the cops, going through the whole talking situation, trying to figure it out, having the coroner find out what was the cause of death? Why would you take your wife's body, put it in body bags, like plastic bags, garbage bags, and toss it here? Why would you do that? This is your wife of how many years? You said that you knew your wife since she was 9 years old. That's how you treat someone who been in your family and been your wife for I don't know how long. I think over 10 years. This is how you treat a loved one? Would you do the same thing for your mother? Would you do the same thing to your father? If your father just ends up having an aneurysm and collapsing in the kitchen and you didn't do anything, are you chopping up or you putting your father in garbage bags and tossing him over the thing because you're so fearful that people are going to believe that you had a hand into doing it? No, you're not doing that. And you're not doing that for loved ones. So I don't buy it. I don't believe it. No. You did something, and this is why you had to hurry and cover it up. You did something to this woman, and you had to hurry up and remove her body, and that's why you disposed of her body that way instead of taking the normal procedures that happens when people lose their lives and you're in the vicinity. That's what happened. Like this guy, it's just crazy. Their excuses and their reasonings as to why they do things. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make you innocent. Like it doesn't make you innocent at all. You disposed of her, so that means if y'all had kids, her children didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her. You made it so her own family didn't get a chance to rest her properly and to say goodbye to her. So you're that selfish that you will even take that away from her own children and her own family so they could say goodbye to her properly. You're that selfish that you think you have the right to do it because you're so quote unquote afraid that someone's going to believe that you did something to her, because you did something to her, sir. You did something to her. That's the only reason why you would hide someone's body. Whew. It's so annoying with with their reasoning behind it. It really doesn't make sense when you start breaking it down. Like, you're not being a caring soul if you're tossing your loved one's body somewhere or chopping it up and putting it in bags in different places and stuff like that. How are you going to say that is love? Like, are you crazy? Come on. Dragon said their main goal is to get you, incriminate yourself, and get a confession. Yes, that is true. Life is what you make it. Says, why threaten these guys are. And then see, she also, he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a male or a female. She said, more like don't tell the truth. I would just say, just don't say anything. Hi, Ashley. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. RJ said, do you know how difficult it is to do it? Yes, exactly. And they don't understand that either. It takes a lot of force. It takes a lot of I don't care, or I'm angry, or I loathe that person to do the things that you do to these people. Like, this is not something that regular people do. And it's crazy how they would try to paint this as this is normal behavior. It's not normal behavior. Let's see. Life is what you make it, said Berg. This is pretty common. Benjamin said, hold on, I'm trying to scroll down. Benjamin said people do weird stuff, but the one yeah, exactly. He said this is just not right, call 911. Exactly. He was trying to get rid of her body. Yes, exactly, Dragon. He said their voice is something is strange. Let's see. Not another tarot reader says, definitely not suspicious. Right. Not this person saying that is love. Absolutely not. Wow. Okay, let's go on. Let's see what else he has to say. But this is just terrible. Quite terrible.
The police would arrest him on their way out of the restaurant, and later, Joseph would tell them that the seizure story was a lie, and then he would tell them the real truth.
We'll come by your work and drop it off, sir. Before noon. Let me send them a text right now. I'll do it later. All right, let's go. I'll send the guy that has the text. Tell him I'm getting more. Come on, let's go. You need to get home to your kids. You don't care about that's why I want to leave. You don't care about my phone. You want your kids. That's true, too. I'm talking about little. She's coming to eat. I understand. I'm holding the door for her. Come on, Joe. Come on, let's go. I want to go. Come on in. What's up? All right. Hey, Carol, what's up? We're going out. We're trying. Thank you. Well, I'm going now. Let's wait. Hang on. What's up? Oh, come on. Are you serious? I need to take you to the hospital. Oh, my God.
Janine wanted a divorce from Joseph, and she was the owner of the home, so she told him that he had to move out, which he did. Joseph was now homeless and he needed a shower, so he asked his wife if he could take one at her home. She said he could, but he was to leave as soon as he was finished. After the shower, Joseph begged Janine to let him move back in, but she stood firm on her decision. Joseph began to get very angry that his demands were not being met. He grabbed Janine and sexually assaulted her, and when he was finished, he took her life with a large kitchen knife. He then washed off the knife and placed the body and the knife into 3 large trash bags and put them into a garbage bin on the street. He then drove around in his Honda Civic, waiting for the trash to be picked up. After cleaning up any evidence in the home, Joseph went to the casino where he spent the rest of the day gambling.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Absolutely not. Listen, I've had the police here 3 different times, crime scene investigators. They went through the house. There's nothing, whatchamacallit, nothing for me to be suspect of, you know.
Janine's body would never be recovered, as it was incinerated shortly after being picked up by the trash company. Joseph remains in prison without bail, awaiting his trial. As in most cases, the signs were there, but nothing was done. Even after her family warned her to never be alone with Joseph, and she filed multiple domestic abuse reports against him, it wouldn't be enough to save Janine's life.
That was a horrible, 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 horrible story. Like, he really didn't care about this woman. And on top of that, he hated that woman. He hated that woman because he could not control her anymore. And she finally stood up for herself, finally got that divorce. And it was her house, like they said, it was her house. And he got comfortable with the simple fact that she was taking care of him. And He was in control of everything, and it's just horrible that's what you do. And just think about, I just want y'all to just think about what he did, the steps that what he did, right? He sexually assaulted his wife. So he raped his wife, and after he raped her, he stabbed her to death. And then he takes her and puts her body in bags and throws it so it could be picked up by the garbage man so it could be incinerated. This is someone who hated and loathed this particular individual and also felt that he was in ownership of her. Like the simple fact that she is your divorced wife, you had to move out the house, you had to show her. You had to show her that I own you. I own you. That's what he did. That was the whole purpose. One of the reasons why he did exactly what he did. Sexually assault her and then murder her that way. To show her and to prove to her that you don't get a chance to you don't get no say so. I own you. You're not getting away from me, right? You don't have no say so in your life and stuff like that. Like he's a very evil, despicable guy. He's a very evil, despicable guy. He is a full-blown demon. A full-blown demon to do that to someone. You knew this woman for 9 years. You knew her for 9 years since you was 9 years old. That means you know her family. Her father gave you her hand for protection and stuff. Now the marriage didn't work out well. Obviously, now hearing about the marriage, you was abusing her. She had numerous of domestic violence reports on you. There was a reason why she did not want to be with you. If the family's literally saying no, she can't even be by herself with this guy for how many times he'd be putting the hands on her, then it was on, I don't know why she softened up to him to allow him to use his shower, right? I don't know why she did that, but she did. And this is really unfortunate. It's a horrible, horrible situation. And what happened to that woman was literally horrible. It's horrible and it's disgusting. It's really disgusting if you really think about it. And for her to be, just think about it. She was married to that. She was married to that. She was married to that. She was living with that man. She was with that man for years. She had children with that man. And look what that man did to her. It says a lot. It says a lot. And then you think that things like this only happen to like complete strangers or people who's in need and stuff. No, sometimes literally the enemy can be in your house, and it doesn't matter if it's a male or a woman. The enemy can be the person that is literally laying right next to you in the bed. And this is how we get sometimes. This is how a lot of these situations are ended up now. It's crazy. All right, so that's all I have for you today, guys, because I gotta go ahead and head into work and handle some business. But I do want to appreciate everybody who was participating in the chat. As always, like I said, I truly appreciate the commentary. As long as we keep it cute, we keep it cordial, and we keep it respectable, y'all are always welcome. I do not like an echo chamber. You can disagree with me all you want, but one thing I do not tolerate is disrespect. You will be blocked on site. Have a nice life. That's how it happens over here. And before I go, I just want to let you know that the cups came in of the store. So this is the Corner Boy cup from my store. It came in, so I have an example for you guys. And what y'all saw earlier that I was sipping on, this is for the girls. This is the move around cup for the Corner Girls. So if y'all interested in that, those are available on the store. I wanted to make sure that I actually had the material here so I can actually show you. So, it will also help whether or not if you're interested in that. And I will be back on Wednesday. So look out for that. I will definitely be back on Wednesday with a couple more cases for you guys. And I just hope that everyone have a lovely and safe night. Thank you for rocking out so long with me. And I appreciate all the newcomers that have come in just to say hi, just to say, just to show support. Even the ones who have said lovely comments, I appreciate you. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And y'all take care, right? Y'all be safe out here, okay? I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.